soon, looking at some other corridors that we could add, to help with the traffic.
So, David, to kind of help frame that up, I mean, can you give us a rough estimate today of how many drivers are currently on using the infrastructure you manage?
So in our region, our system generates about 2.2 million transactions per day.
2.2 million per day.
Right.
That's impressive.
It's a lot. So,
and how many people are in your county again? I forget how many the population of Harris County.
I believe 10 million.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So that you're talking, 20% of your, it's a significant amount of people that are going to be using this every day. 2.2 million.
But I do know that we'll be, connecting those far out communities, to be able to get back into town.
Well, that's great. And that means more jobs, easier accessibility, that opens the door to a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, infrastructure is everything. I mean, people, we are building structures and transportation to serve generations of, people, for many, many years. So that's phenomenal.
It's not something that happens overnight, and it's got to be built for the future. So yeah, exactly like you said, it's got to have a lot of planning.
Welcome to another episode of Toll Talk. I'm one of your hosts, Alex Ficcari, CEO of Mojo, and I have here next to me is Kaylee Jakovics, who's Director of Business Development, and we have some great guests, don't we, today, Kaylee?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Who do we have?
Yeah, thank you for that intro. Excited to be on another episode.
That's right.
David Patterson here, the Assistant Director of Technology and Tolling Operations at Harris County Toll Road Authority. David, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. We're happy to have you.
Thank you, guys. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, let's kind of kick it off. We can start. Tell us, a little bit more on the personal side about yourself, where you're located.
Yeah, let the world know, inquiring minds and all.
Passion, family. What do you like to do for fun?
Yeah. So I live in Houston, Texas. Been in the city for 14 years. This summer will be 14 years since my family and I moved down here from Dallas. And so I have a wife of 20 years. I have an 18-year-old son who's graduating high school this year. And I also have a 16-year-old son who's finishing up the 10th grade.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Yeah, my youngest is 18, so he's graduating this year as well. It's a great time. You must be extremely proud and excited about the future, or are you just saying, thank God that grocery bill's going down?
Very proud. Yes, very proud. Very scary moment, though. Releasing these kids into the world is it's a very intimidating thing.
Now, are they interested in tolling as well, or do they have their own dreams?
No, that's interesting you asked that. We've talked about it a lot. Obviously, that's a conversation in our household. So they are not uninterested, but they're going to find their own path one way or another. So we'll see. I'm not going to push them.
Yeah. That's always tough because I always thought that when I was building Mojo, I'm like, oh, everybody's going to want to, the boys are going to be fighting and clamoring over who takes it over. And like, that ain't the case. None of them want to have anything to do with what I do. and then once I mix tolling into it, they're never showing up.
Yeah.
Now, so I get that. That's great though. They're going to make their own paths, right?
Yeah, great to hear. Well, tell us a little bit about your background in the industry and kind of how you ended up where you are today.
Yeah, so it's a journey. So after I went to college at Texas A&M University, fighting Texas Aggie class of 1992. And so after college, I moved to Dallas and worked there for about 15 years. And sometime in 2001, I found myself kind of at the end of the .com bubble, and the bubble had burst, and I found myself without work. So it just so happened that I landed a job working for a consulting company that was in the tolling industry. So fall of 2001 was my introduction to the tolling world. So my first customer was the first project that we had was actually building and implementing the first integrated back office system for the Harris County Toll Road. So effectively, I've been working with HCTRA since 2002. In 2010, I moved to Houston, and then in 2016, actually converted and started working for Harris County itself.
So there's been a lot of going on over in your county and a lot of activities and programs. I think people have definitely want to kind of know what, with all this activity going on, what are some of the changes that are going on that people should know about, like over HCTRA, as we call HCTRA,
HCTRA, yes, thank you. That's yes, we'll keep it simple. One of the most recent things that we've done that we're super proud of is we implemented a new tolling policy in September of 2023, and the policy is not a very exciting topic, right? It's rules, but we kind of turned it around and spent about a year and a half developing this thing. We decided to take more of an innovative approach to it and use data analytics to kind of drive what the toll rates should be.
Oh, great!
So being a county government agency, we are required to cover our costs. So we want to pass along as much of the savings on the tolls to the customers as we can. And the previous policy that we had done was implemented in 2008. So a lot of things had changed in that time, right? So
it's time for a change.
Yes, lots of changes. So we wanted to look at it from an innovative approach. And, the number one goal was to provide, an equitable program for our best customers, our easy tag customers that drive with the tag with a good account.
Yeah.
So what we did is we give them the lowest rate, and then as the different types of customers cost more to do business with, we changed the rate for those. So we ended up with 4 toll rates, and it's all based on it's based on data. So it was a really cool project, and now that we've got it implemented, it's been really successful. One of the other little cherries on top is when our director took the policy to have it approved by our county commissioners, they thought we could do maybe a little better. So we took it back and crunched some numbers, and we ended up giving a 10% discount to our easy tag customers.
Oh, wow.
So, so just to kind of give a little bit back.
Yeah. So with this new policy, has it impacted traffic flow at all, as well as, what about that revenue generation? Because it seems like you're benefiting a lot of the drivers and things going on, but you have your own goals as well.
Right. And obviously, we want to give a good program to the customers, but obviously we've got to, we got to get the revenue. So, yes, it has been a good impact. We have seen more easy tag accounts being converted. The people who were previously didn't have an account and were, violating,
Right.
they're now easy tag customers. A lot of them have converted. The other thing that we did is to give access to our customers who may not want an account, but they still want to drive, they still want to pay.
Sure.
They just may not want to have a sticker on their car. So we have a program for them as well. So we're trying to hit as many of those niche groups as we can to get them fold.
Okay. and I was just going to say, for those who don't know, Harris County, correct me if I'm wrong on this, David, Harris County, Texas is like the 3rd largest county in the country. And it's massive. And so all the stuff that you're talking about, people think a year and a half, that's dang impressive, right? You think about the monumental task, all the drivers. Thanks
for recognizing that. Yes, it is a big system. And so the different types of demographics that we have in the region, it's no longer a one size fits all program. So, we can adapt.
Right. And speaking of adapting, what's done now, I mean, that may have to change in the future. I mean, do you figure that you will have to adjust things in the future, or what are your plans for that?
So that's a great question. One of the hooks that we put in the policy is to go back annually and reevaluate, since it is a cost covering program.
Right.
We want to make sure that it's still covering our costs. So we agreed that we would go back and reevaluate it annually.
Okay. And I guess that would also kind of support any, just keeping it in line over the years to come. You keep having these annual reviews. I mean, that's going to probably keep it in line, and also probably adjust for the economy and maintenance and structure and all the things that people don't realize go into these projects.
Exactly.
At least from the driver's level. Yeah.
Have you gotten a lot of feedback so far, and are you measuring that?
So we have actually had a lot of feedback that people are really interested in it, even though, again, it's policy. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but obviously people are interested in saving some change. So that's been the biggest feedback that we've gotten is the discount.
No,
right, great to hear.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about sustainability for a moment. When you think electronic tolling collections, I mean, can you maybe elaborate on what that project might look like here for HCTRA?
Yeah. So effectively, during COVID, we stopped doing cash collections on the roadway. Mm-hmm. So we took our toll collectors off the road, and effectively, in March 2020, March of 2020, we became all electronic, at least as far as the toll collection. But we never had a chance to really go back and fix the roadway. So in 2021, started a program, an electronic conversion program. Goal of that program is to convert those toll plazas to free flow, open road tolling. Now, in that same time frame, we got a new director for the agency, and new leadership with new challenges that came along with that. So one of the challenges that Mr. Trevino gave us is to see how we can do it differently, how we can innovate the conversion to all electronic. Because in the past we would have just gone out, tore things down, poured new concrete, and moved on. But one of the visions that the director brought to the agency is the goal of sustainability and resiliency. So in this program, we worked with our consultants and wanted to incorporate the community in this as much as we could.
Absolutely.
So because we're converting the tolling plazas, we had plaza buildings that were left over, so we wanted to use that extra space and those things to try to give back. So some of the things that we did, I'll mention them later. But just as far as the goals of the project, I just wanted to clarify that is safety. Absolutely, safety was the number one goal, because having folks have to slow down, in high speed lanes it's very dangerous. So safety was the number one goal, and improving the traffic flow along with that. Yeah. And then since we had taken cash off the roadway, it was no longer a payment option for 10% of our customers. So it was a large number of people wanted to pay cash. So one of the things that we've incorporated into this program is to offer more payment options. So to try to find things that people will like to use.
Like, are those like unbanked options such as like Venmo and PayPal and Apple Pay, that kind of thing?
Those, yes, we're working towards those. The first one that we incorporated, we branded it Easy Toll Pay, and it's a retail cash program that Walmart, HEB, Kroger, the places where people are already accept payment on our for invoices or their accounts.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. We speak about innovation, and for those who who don't know, and even for David, but we have a lot of subscribers that come to watch this that aren't just necessarily in tolling, right? They may be engineers, they may be technicians of some level at different roles, and so we know not everybody in these large organizations always know what one department is doing, or because it's a big effort, right? And especially at HCTRA, where you have massive organization making changes for the entire county, again, third largest county in the country, and so I think what's interesting for let people to know is when we talk about innovation, right? And you talk about your executive director saying, okay, here, let's bring some innovation here. And that's one thing I'm always amazed by how we look at innovation in this industry. It's, you have, in one way, it's like, how can we bring, electronic charging underneath the roadways? How can we bring, payment options? There's so much talent in these organizations that look beyond just, the direct line. I mean, here you're going to the grocery stores and communicating with people and opening up those opportunities to make it easier for the drivers. And most people aren't aware of that level of effort that goes into that. Yeah, it's definitely really interesting when you see, when I hear this again, like you guys are going, finding partners in the retail environments to kind of help promote and bring this into drivers. And it's, again, just to better serve the customers, right? Where they're at, right? You're going to them, not necessarily, always making them come to you under your terms. You're finding ways to make it work for them. So I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So, a lot of great things are happening. I do have another question regarding to electronic tolling. Are you facing any challenges or roadblocks along the way?
So the challenge, I would say, is really from the size of the program. There's 7 tolling locations that we're converting in this project, and those 7 represent probably 70% of our revenue. So obviously, we have to be very careful, during the construction, right, and the downtime of these locations, so that we don't negatively impact the revenue stream. So between that and then just the overall administration of the program, it's very large. There's somewhere around 50 contracts that are having to be managed out of this project.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
There's a lot going on.
And it doesn't stop there, correct? Am I correct in also understanding that it's also kind of going into, the bike paths and walking paths that are out there as well?
Yes. Correct? Another, great segue. That is another directive that we got for this is to, again, trying to get the community involved in this. And before we go too deep into it, I just want the idea that it's not a bike path, on the toll road itself. We're not putting cyclists on next to a
good thing to clear that up.
I just want to clear that up. The goal here was to take a sort of a stitched blanket of existing trails where even some of our facilities may actually cut them off.
Okay.
So we wanted to kind of fill in the gaps and connect and tie up those things to make it just a better fit for the folks who want to use that. The second part of it is we're partnering with TxDOT. Because they own the right of way. So the frontage roads that are on our facilities, we're improving the sidewalks and making them truly pedestrian friendly. 20, 30 years ago when these things were built, sustainability, equitability, and all that thing, it wasn't a big consideration. So we're improving the safety at those intersections on the frontage roads, as well as the efficiency, movability.
A quick question too. There's a lot of different people that you need to get communications out to, right? Whether it's the cyclists, the walkers, the drivers. What are some of the marketing initiatives or communications that you're having so the community is aware of what you guys are rolling out and implementing?
So actually, for the pedestrian bike improvement program, we had community engagement sessions. So we invited folks to come out to a community center and share the ideas, and got a lot of good input that way.
So just out of curiosity, when you're thinking about all of these, right, these initiatives that you have going on, one of the things I'm kind of curious about is what is the goal that you're shooting for at the end? Like when your executive director and you and the rest of the leadership team and all the various stakeholders are putting this together, I mean, what does that future look like for you? Like what are the goals that people should know about?
We want Hector to be thought of as a part of the community, not just the toll road, not
Sure.
just just another government agency or somebody who's just charging money to drive. So we really do want to give back to the community and give them a way to be a part of these. So if I can give one more example, one
Please.
of the new projects that we have coming up is it's completing the Hardy Toll Road is goes towards downtown, but it was never finished. It stops about 5 miles from the downtown area. So for about 20 years, it's been on our project list to finish.
Okay.
But there's some challenges with it because it goes right next to a neighborhood. There are several neighborhoods over this 5 miles. So about a year and a half ago, we got approval to start doing studies for completing this. And during that time, we've had multiple community work sessions, and we've gotten incredible feedback. And what has come out of that is a design that is, it's something that we'll be really proud of once it's implemented. Below ground and capped with a land bridge, so that we'll be creating parks, sports areas, and lots of places where the community, the neighborhood next to it, won't even necessarily know there's a road underneath them. So we're really excited about the way that it's coming out.
I'm always amazed, David, and I think again for some of the people in various roles in the tolling industry and some of our watchers that it's when I first got into this industry about 5 years ago, right? It was. They have these tours, specifically at IBTTA, hosts these phenomenal events. And when you go there, and that's how we met, right? We met at one of these events, which is fantastic. I think, in fact, the last time I saw you was Seattle, in person anyway, or maybe another time there. But anyway, they have these tours where you can go look at the different communities and understand what the activities are going on. And I was always amazed that I remember the first time I really understood the magnitude of what goes into, as you say, affecting the community and how do you build the community up and like how do you have a great responsibility on your shoulders, right? And so I remember the very first event that I went to is that they took a landfill, and this was like out in California or something like that, and they were using the natural methane from the landfill build off and venting it out, and they were looking at bird migration patterns, and they were looking at every little aspect of how it can make an impact on the community. And to hear you also, again, reaffirming that care and attention and responsibility, the county has, and in general, anybody in tolling, but specifically Hector and your teams that are there making a big difference. It's, like you are considering, how is this going to affect us? What can we do to make a low impact and make a bigger, return for all of us? I mean, that's really reassuring. It's always impressive to me. So,
well, I appreciate that. And, it's, we have good leadership. So I can sum it up really quickly. We have folks pushing us in the right direction, giving us the ability to do these things. So,
yeah. So I guess the question is now, and Kayla, I knew you had a question on that.
Yeah.
Okay,
I guess kind of, how are you guys measuring the success of sustainability initiatives, which we've touched a little bit more on that, but if you can dig a little bit
that's kind of
deeper.
my curiosity too. Yeah. What does success look like? How does the community know you've reached your goal?
So there is an organization called the Infrastructure Sustainability Institute. They have a program called Envision. And that does exactly this. It measures how well your projects are doing as far as sustainability and resilience. So our director challenged us to make the highest level certification for this program. It's a platinum level. And so what that entails is recycling. For example, as we have started removing some of the old collector booths and things like that.
Sure.
We recycled them. We ended up recycling, don't think I'm going to mess up this number, somewhere around 150 million pounds of metal. So,
wow.
I mean, yes, lots of things. So as you do those things, you earn a score. And so at the end of the project, you tally everything up, and there's a certification that comes along with it. So
that's phenomenal.
So some of the other things that we're adding in line with that, we're introducing solar to the toll system.
Okay.
We've got plenty of sun in Houston, so we're trying to leverage as much of that as we can. So we're gonna run our toll equipment from solar panels. Some of the old plaza facilities that I mentioned, we've got some extra green space in there now, so we're gonna install some lots with EV charging stations.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have a great leadership team over there, and there's so many great things happening with what you're saying. I'm really glad that we had you on today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think just most people don't realize the level of effort that goes into it. And I think that's a big takeaway. And I think it's also a check and bounce for our viewers here that also need to understand that, there's so many stakeholders that have, a vision and a purpose for and reason why we're doing these things. And so, yeah, definitely, it definitely kind of helps, I think, set a good picture, at least a foundational picture, right? Without getting too deep in the weeds, on today's podcast, right? We can't cover it all.
If we get into the details.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think, it's a great start. So, just one thing, what are some of the opportunities for the public input or collaboration for future sustainability? Like, how does HCTRA see you going to keep that communication to manage the expectations of the community you're within as well, right? And in both a constructive way, both directions. How do you do that in the future?
So that is absolutely something that we plan to continue. We're using some of these, like our BFH program and our this Hardy Connector program as sort of guinea pigs to try some of these things out for the community workshops and those things, and had the success that we expected to get out of it, and it will become part of these larger initiatives. And the other thing that we do is we work through our local precincts, so it's very in tune with their communities and things like that. So they help us as stakeholders, to kind of help us drive that message home.
Moving into kind of future plans and vision, what does the next 5 to 10 years look like for goals, initiatives for HCTRA?
Yeah.
So the goal here is to grow. That's kind of the theme in this part of the world. Houston is growing by leaps and bounds every year. Yeah. So we have to make sure our infrastructure keeps up with it. So that is probably the more than 5 to 10 year plan, but we're going to begin soon looking at some other corridors that we could add, to help with the traffic.
So, David, to kind of help frame that up, can you give us a rough estimate today of how many drivers are currently on using the infrastructure you manage?
So, in our region, our system generates about 2.2 million transactions per day.
2.2 million per day.
Right.
That's impressive.
It's a lot. So,
and how many people are in your county again? I forget how many the population of Harris County.
I believe 10 million.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So that you're talking, 20% of your. It's a significant amount of people that are going to be using this every day. 2.2 million, and that means more jobs, easier accessibility. That opens the door to a whole bunch of stuff. Infrastructure is everything. people, we are building structures and transportation to serve generations of people for many years. So that's phenomenal.
It's not something that happens overnight, and it's got to be built for for the future. So yeah, exactly like you said, it's got to have a lot of planning in it.
Okay, great.
Well, thank you so much, David. Is there anything else that you want to share with us? Any other upcoming events, initiatives?
We're always we love to share. We love coming to the conferences and talk about some of these fun things that we do. I did want to toot on our horn. So recently, about a month ago, we were awarded a U.S. patent for a project that we did. We started in 2018.
Okay.
We built it's an AI auditing tool for our roadside system.
Oh, wow.
So we built this thing, and then it's been wildly successful. It's paid for itself time and time again. We decided to have it patented. About a month ago, we got our award. So we were super proud of that.
Congratulations.
Very cool. Congratulations.
That's awesome. So, needless to say, you're a very busy man. And the rest of your team as well. Very busy team.
We do stay busy. There's not a lot of downtime.
Well, we definitely, thank you very much for taking time out to join us here today. You've been a fantastic guest. I think a wealth of information. I think not only for the tolling industry, but also for those people who are in Harris County or maybe moving and part of your growth population as you see the years to come.
Right.
Yeah, but no, great stuff. And I hope all our viewers today, definitely got their information that they could use to kind of further themselves, a professional career, and just more about the industry. And want to make sure you like, follow, and subscribe channel. So thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Thanks.